I got a call at 6 o'clock in the morning directly from Colonel Johnson telling me that Tim was wounded. And he actually was able to connect me by satellite phone to his neurosurgeon in Baghdad, so I was able to talk to his neurosurgeon and find out what was going on.
Wow.
Very, very rare. Most there are no other ones that got the same thing.
Yeah, it was amazing. And his neurosurgeon was kind enough to walk the phone to Tim, so at least Tim could hear my voice and I could tell him that I was on my way. And then I flew to Marshall. Tim said I was there 24 hours before he was, so I was able to go around the wards that Marine liaisons greeted me. They were phenomenal. Met me at the airport, got me to Marshall, got me settled in the Fisher House, which was really cool, and then took me around the hospital so I could visit the other wounded, and even allowed me to go into the ICU to visit some of the wounded there.
Is that where you got your inspiration for your foundation? Is that
Partly.
Partly.
In Marshall, when I was visiting with the patients in the ICU, not only was it good for me to see patients in that condition because I had an idea of what to expect when Tim arrived, but I met two wounded soldiers. One family that I met in the Fisher House had to fly themselves to Germany, figure out how they were getting to Marshall, how to make all the arrangements themselves.
Did they pay for it themselves also?
They paid for it themselves. It was just something that the Army wasn't providing them. And they had a life or death decision to make. They had to decide whether to take her husband off life support. And she told me the story about the other patient in the ICU who also was a soldier, very, very critical condition. That wife was not able to afford to fly to Germany and come over, so she was having to make that call from the States. So that was something that stuck with me.
I traveled a lot early on. I mean, after I was up, and we're talking about a year later, and I asked people, and every time I met a soldier, they would, not the Marine, not the soldier, but the staff guys, they would defend it and say that's not true. And I say they do fly them out, if they need flying out and all that. And I would say, well, how did my wife meet too? They pay for it themselves to decide whether or not their son should die. Anybody? They would claim that I was wrong every time. All BAMC, you name it, they would tell me something. So denial.
That stuck with me, the fact that just those discrepancies between what those families were allowed to do and what I was allowed to do, and the support that I received from the Marine Corps was very, very different.
Very few go to, very few go to Baghdad. I mean, to Germany. Very few.
And
only if they're thinking about that.
And that's very difficult too. I very well could have missed Tim at Marshall, and that's certainly a consideration. Tim's mom wanted to fly out to Germany, and I called her and told her that it's by the time you get here, he's going to leave.
Yeah.
There's no rhyme or reason. There's no schedule. They get them out as fast as they can on the next flight. So you take a risk flying to Marshall that you may miss your loved one in the middle of the flight. So.
We don't know anybody else who got the information that Shannon received until they show up in Germany anyway. So she gets notified when I'm in Baghdad. Very rare.
You had a lucky, or I guess a very nice, colonel.
He ain't a nice, don't insult him, they call him a nice guy.
Oh, sorry.
Tough guy.
Tough guy.
But he did it all, and that made a big difference. They most don't get notified until they get to Germany. And then try to come to Germany. It don't work. And I've had good friends of mine that run police liaisons in the hospitals, and they say that they've seen people go and it never works well because the family got too much preparation. They got it, and he's injured. He's going to Bethesda and Walter Reed for months, maybe years. Your life is going to change. Do you want to fly to Germany real quick? You got kids. You got to figure out how you're going to pay. I mean, so it's a good point, but still.
We were very blessed on all accounts because my sister is married to a Marine also. They would probably be stationed where we were. So they moved into my house. I already had a passport. It was relatively easy for us to accomplish that.
Yeah.
Another family would have really had.
They took your house while you were away. It's awfully nice of them. After Germany, did you go straight to Bethesda?
We did. We just
Tell them about where they decided to send me to. Remember that?
Yes. while we were in launch delay, we were notified that that flight was available to take us to the States, to Andrews. At first, as they were getting all the paperwork together, they told me that Tim was going to Walter Reed, and I said, that's not right. The neurosurgeon had already introduced me to Dr. Armando, who would be the neurosurgeon in Bethesda that we were supposed to be treating, so I knew we were supposed to go to Bethesda. And I also knew that Tim would be very disoriented to wake up in a hospital.
He didn't know.
Surrounded by soldiers and not Marines.
Yeah.
So we ended up flying the medevac flight to Andrews, and then the ambulance picked us up.
I understand that if she had not been in Germany where she's not supposed to be,
Yeah.
I would have been sent to Walter Reed. Now, they wouldn't have moved me back to him, but that's, I'm sure. I'm pretty sure.
You hope.
The ambulance picked him up and entered him straight to Bethesda, where we were greeted in the ICU by Dr. Armando.